Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Zip here to bring you more exciting news about Flare and this crypto environment, this journey that we're on. Today, we're going to dive deep into Flare and talk about some of what's going on there in that bigger picture. It's all about yield, ladies and gentlemen. We want to find safe ways to earn yield on our XRP, XLM, Bitcoin, and many other environments. And Flare is going to bring all of that on chain. They're building, and by the end of this video, you'll see more capabilities here that may fit you. Again, we want to do everything absolutely safe in this environment, but thank you again. Welcome back. I am Zip. Please continue to hit those likes. Welcome to all the new subscribers as we're just documenting our journey through here and trying to bring you some opportunities to see that bigger macro picture. Now with that, let's dive straight into it. Flare. If you're not familiar with Flare, go into the video library. We've talked about Flare numerous times. And basically, it's an environment. They're going to bring all of these capabilities to generate yield. If you are brand new to this environment, welcome to the channel. Continue to learn, continue to educate out here on YouTube and other environments. It does not just stop here. I don't have all of the information. Many of you probably have even greater depth. Drop it in the comments. Keep the conversation going. This is a safe environment, in my opinion, and we're going to kind of talk about that as we go through this video of what the future is going to hold. Just holding XRP, XLM, and some of these other tokens, phenomenal, yes. But we want to create that momentum. We want to create that velocity to generate yield in a safe, smart, strategic way. Look at the total volume locked up on Flare right now. We're sitting at $132 million as they continue to build this environment. So real quick, if you're not familiar with Flare, there's two environments. We have the Songbird network, which is the DevNet, if you would. It's the development network. And right now, they're going through that development phase before they launch XRP yield capabilities to where we can mint our XRP and have a whole host of not only generating staking capability in a safe, self-custodial way. That is the key, ladies and gentlemen. We want to be able to hold these assets. At least I do. I don't want to have to worry about counterparty risk in moving my assets into some CeFi environment. I want to hold it in my wallet. I want to be able to pull it back when I decide that needs to happen. So with that, again, they are continuing to grow at $132 million of total volume locked. Very, very exciting there. That's what we want to see. That's the big picture. And by the end of this video, hold on, because you're going to see more and more businesses are coming on board with them. And one of those is another public company that's building treasury around Flare. But before we get into that, to set the stage, let's listen to this and think about, picture where we're going in the future with the capability of Flare if you decide to do it.
You love XRP. You believe in XRP. You've been holding it since 2017. What if you could earn yield and still diamond hand it? With Flare, you can transform those coins into F assets. Wow. Smart contract ready versions you can actually use in DeFi. That means earning yield, providing liquidity, or staking for rewards. No middlemen, no centralized bridges, no giving up control. Here's how it works. Pick an agent, lock up some collateral, and send XRP to the agent's address on XRPL. The minting process only takes a few minutes. The F-Asset system verifies everything and gives you shiny new FXRP, ready to plug into every DeFi protocol on the Flywheel and yield-generating chain. Want your original XRP back? No problem. Redeem anytime. Simple, secure, and trustless. Behind the scenes, a decentralized network of agents, liquidators, and challengers keeps the system running. Always over-collateralized, always on guard. Flare isn't just bridging XRP, it's building the entire financial stack around it. Learn more about what you can do with your FXRP in our next video.
Again, generation of yield. Flare is bringing all of these blockchains into one environment to have that capability. They've already dropped. They're bringing in an XLM, Bitcoin through F assets and being able to mint that token, go back in. I've done deeper dives on that as far as the technical on that, but this was a perfect introduction if you're brand new to this environment, where Flare is going and why I'm so excited about it to generate safe yield capability. Again, other things going on here. Look at this. Everything blockchain, EBZT is the second public company to adopt Flare's XRP-Fi framework. This follows Vivo Power's 100 million XRP deployment. XRP-Fi is what's going to transform XRP into that yield-bearing asset for corporate treasuries using Flare's F assets through Firelight protocols. We've talked about this numerous times. If you're not familiar with EB, everything blockchain, they've been around for a while and now they're wanting to come on board and generate. We heard him mention it in that video just a minute ago from Hugo, that flywheel effect. Remember, holding these assets, phenomenal. But we want to look into the future, how to generate some passive income, generate some yield to earn more XRP and more DeFi capabilities. This coming from the CEO, XRP, now roughly $140 billion asset, has been a cornerstone of digital finance for more than a decade. We know what Ripple's doing behind the scenes. We know how big XRP is going to be. That's not a debate. There's naysayers out there. So be it. They'll be shocked when we see what we're going to see again going into Q4. I'm still looking at Q4, the end of this year, as all of this stuff comes together. But Flare changes that by enabling a compliant, on-chain, non-custodial yield framework designed for corporate treasuries. Remember, these are actual businesses that are bringing in a portfolio to Flare to generate a treasury yield within their business environment. We saw with Vivo Power and now everything blockchain, public companies are validating that XRP-Fi within Flare is not just a concept, but an emerging institutional standard. And this is what's so great about this. It's not just for the institutions. There's many environments out here right now that only the institutions can get in. But you and I, from a retail perspective, can onboard within Flare and have the capability to generate yield. More about the everything blockchain here within their portfolio. We see in their treasury product, they have HBAR, Link, Hype, Ondo, Sui, Sol, and yes, XRP in one product. And they're bringing that XRP into Flare to generate that yield. This is what we want to see. We want to see that growth within the treasury environment. We want to see that TVL continue to grow because it means the environment is growing and it's earning respect from an institutional grade perspective. We see these companies coming in. Very good news. More on Flare. This is a little bit about that treasury. You can go out here and look at that latest collaboration with everything blockchain, but with institutional grade compliance, XRP-Fi on Flare positions XRP as a productive treasury tool, which signals, this is the key, a shift from speculation to sustainable returns in a safe manner to that which we, you and I, control that environment. Other news within Flare, another collaborative collaboration going on here with more products. You know, we saw, and I talked about more markets a while ago. They came out and they were showing yield capability for XRP. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be several different products out there. You're going to have to do your education to see which ones fit you. I lend caution to all of this, but more products is revolutionizing XRP with their earn account, unlocking a potential for 4 to 5% yield using F assets and top tier security. You can think of it as, you know, turning idle, again, XRP, in the future, XLM, into money making capabilities. It's backed by a 98% reliable, decentralized model. This taps into the explosive real world utility, DeFi capability, insurance in the future, 24/7 real world assets, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, that are coming on chain within the Flare environment. We've seen the numbers out there. By 2030, they're talking about $16 trillion of tokenized assets on chain. That is a huge number, which is bringing all this capital, which if you are playing in this environment, you can participate and earn a little bit of yield in a safe way. You know, the future is absolutely wide open, very exciting, with endless opportunities here, you know, to stack profits, as XRP is going to power the future DeFi boom within Flare. And Flare is not going to be the only environment, obviously, but we've been following Flare for quite a long time. And if you were part of XRP for a while here, you know, there's a snapshot back in 2020, 2021 to where it allowed you, if you decided to participate, to earn monthly Flare tokens as you were delegating those tokens within that environment. Again, if it's confusing, go back to some of the other videos where I deep dive on this information. The point here is we are entering an environment to where we are going to be able to generate yield. We want to put our money to work, in this instance, XRP to work, because of why? That velocity of money. Money does not like to sit still, but we have to be safe. We have to be smart. And as this capability drops, we'll be bringing you deep dives, exactly what Zip's perspective is and how I'm going to initiate my portfolio within this environment in a very, very safe, measured environment. Am I going to take all my XRP and put it into this environment right away? Absolutely not. But I'm going to take a portion of it, maybe 10% of it, and generate some yield. I want to put it to use. Now, with that, let's listen to Hugo here as he talks about economically secured services on Flare, which is transforming XRP staking into real world yield. That's what this whole video is about, generating yield. By staking XRP through Firelight protocols, you're going to get what is called STXRP. It's a liquid token, which is going to earn us, you know, capability and yield on within the Flare environment. These fees that he's talking about here with the ESSS come from practical utilities, real world assets, DeFi protocols that really are somewhat riskless within this environment. But unlike traditional staking, the ESS delivers sustainable yield from an economically activity that is already going on, like insurance, like real world assets that we just talked about, with potential APYs of everywhere from 8 to 10%. If you get riskier, you could earn 20%. But everything is about risk analysis. Let's take a listen to what Hugo is saying here about this ESS environment and how it is going to explode and give us the capability for that yield.
With reward comes risk. you can't have one without the other.
Sure.
But the idea of economically secured services is that they broadly mirror, in terms of the risk that you're taking, conventional staking. So
Okay.
we're not talking about, an economically secured service where you're buying deep out of the money calls. That is not a comparable risk to staking. This is places where this is things where you have very, very low risk of getting hit, as in taking a loss, and your loss is contained and subscribed. And so this is the concept of economically secured services. The first place that really works is insurance. The second place that probably works is real world asset liquidity on chain. If you know much about the real world asset market in crypto, you'll know that it's not the most liquid market. You'll also know that it's less liquid at the weekend because conventional markets are closed. And so there's a whole concept around how we bootstrap RWA liquidity, and economically secured services are a very good option for that.
Another option, remember, it's capital efficient, letting us put our XRP to use in DeFi, earning rewards. Remember, risks include XRP utility. It's going up, it's going down. We've seen that in the markets, but it's implementing smart contracts in this ESS environment to unlock the full potential of XRP and these other assets that Flare is going to be. They're going to connect everything. They're going to connect as many products as possible, and they're doing it in a very methodical, safe way. That's why it's taking so long. That's why they're testing things right now on the Songbird network. And when they understand and they have the full audits and they know that it's secure, it will roll out, and we'll be here to bring you that information. Other news on Flare, like to listen to this, because again, it's talking about institutional grade capability that is not exclusive, meaning that you and I, as retail investors, are able to come into this environment to participate. Flare Networks is absolutely breaking down the walls, letting not just these big institutions come in like Vivo Power, like EBZ, but everyday XRP holders to tap into high quality yield capabilities through economically secured services, that ESS that we were just talking about. Let's listen to this, what he has to say, to give you that broad picture of what is going on.
We like to use the term internal institutional grade rather than institutional, because we think any investor should have. When you talk about institutional grade, you care about robustness and risk management and security and better alpha, and everybody should have access to that. And I think those were part of the ethos on Flare since the very beginning, because I know the team since they got started. And now they're in every building block of the platform, and we're just materializing now with this iteration on XRP yields.
I love what you said about institutional grade, because retail also deserves to have good security and fast execution and cheap transactions and access to all of the same things. And that is the beauty of decentralization. Theoretically, there shouldn't be a walled garden around these products, right? Even if they're built for institutions, theoretically, anyone should eventually be able to use.
And anyone is going to be able to use it to take advantage of all the RWA environment in a safe, secure DeFi space. We'll break it down. There are some cautions out there if you decide to get into DeFi, but as far as just staking your XRP or XLM, as they bring it in, as they bring these proof of stake they bring these environments into Flare, that's what we want to look for going into the future. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. If you're here to get rich overnight, fine, but that's not my mentality. I'm looking long-term down the road so I can generate safe yield from a monthly perspective, from a yearly perspective, and holding on to these assets for a long time, for generational type wealth. Now, other thing going on here, wallets. Everybody always asks, what wallets do you use within these environments? Obviously here, go out to Flare. If you're on X, by the way, follow me out on X if you're out there. But if you're looking for what wallets to use, there's a whole host of wallets. We have MetaMask. I like to utilize Bifrost. You can use your ledger, and there's a whole host of other wallets to introduce yourself very carefully into these environments, and just start with staking, traditional staking, out on Scepter as an example, staking your asset, Flare. I think Flare is absolutely going to be huge. If it's not in your portfolio already, you may want to look at it. Not financial advice, but going into the future, it's a method to be able to put our XRP to use. That's what's exciting. That's what we want to do. Now, with that, please, please, please continue to be safe out there and be non-emotional. We know the markets are down. We see what's going on out there. Absolutely a phenomenal buying opportunity. Dollar cost average in at these levels right now. We're not going to continue to have the blessing to be able to get these assets at these low prices as all this clarity, the Clarity Act, the laws, the ETFs that are come into this environment. We're going to start to see these prices absolutely go up if you have that long-term thought process. If you're trading day to day, good for you. Not what I'm doing. I'm buying, I'm holding, and I'm looking long-term to allow the maturity of this environment and Flare to give me more yield capability into the future. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you're excited. Drop it in the comments. Are you already in the Flare environment? Have you been playing with F assets? Are you looking to the future of what capabilities are going to be out there? We will be here to drop that content for you as more capabilities come out. But with that, continue to have a fantastic week. Keep that mindset on positive lock, and absolutely be safe out there. And until next time, Zip is out.